Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to this episode of She Talks to Angels. So, what I've been thinking about lately and what's been coming in through guidance and other directions is this season. It not only is it the summer season, I'm recording this in June and it will drop the last day of June on the 30th. So, we are in the early stages of summer and that means longer days, warmer weather, and generally a higher vibe in terms of energy. You can research it. We definitely have more energy in the summer because of the longer days in the sunshine. And I'm sure you're noticing it because I am, and it feels good. Also, related to that is related and unrelated is this season of change. I know that many of us are experiencing changes in different areas of our lives. We have our children that are going to different stages and phases of their lives. We have our businesses that are going into and expanding into or changing into different ways of being in the world. We have our jobs and in our work and in our community and in the world of giving in nonprofits. So I thought I would combine the two topics today and kind of bring through what I have been getting on this and just, it is a fact, right? For most people, and I'm going to say most people, some people actually thrive and desire change. Most people, we don't love change, or we love change when we initiate it, but not so much when we don't. Gets to that, down to that thing that we all love to think we have a lot of, and that's control, right? And if we can, quote, plan the change and have it go along the way that we think it should, and FYI, it never goes along exactly as we hope it would or should or think it should. It is an evolution in our being. Sometimes change comes out of tragedy. Sometimes change comes out of the universe knowing we need to change, but we haven't quite internalized the hows and whys and all of that. Example of that is losing a job before we were ready, someone leaving a relationship before before we're ready or before we had planned it. The shock value of either of those things is huge. And it takes a minute or so to even grapple with what is actually happening. I'm sure if you have been in any one of those situations, you recognize that feeling or you can relate to it. And even sometimes, often, I would say, when we are the ones that are leaving the job, changing our business drive forward and our mission, or starting a new business, or leaving the relationship, it is still very difficult and it's still big change on so many levels. And I really want to ask you to just take a quick minute, take a deep breath, and think about the last time you had to make a change, whether it was your own doing, if you will, or whether it was something outside of yourself that instigated the change. Think about kind of the stages you went through. Think about how you felt initially. Either way, whether you initiated or it was outside of yourself that was initiated, that feeling. I mean, I start talking about it and I can feel it in my gut. I can feel that tension and that unknown and the questions and the wonder and curiosity and worry to some extent. And I also know that 100% of the time on the other side of these changes for me, and I have been through many, many in my life, it it I'm always grateful. And most of the time, high 90% time of the time, I understand why the change needed to happen. In the moment, sometimes not so much. In the moment, it is about grappling with the acknowledging of the change and the wrapping our head around like the emotions, the logistics, the meaning, all of those things. I am one of those people that wants to know the why and the meaning right in the moment. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. And either way, I am action oriented. I'm very emotional. So I have all of the feelings and I am ready to take care of business and do what needs to do to move through the change. I am one of those people that likes to have that element of control and think that I can move through and check off the lists and, be on the other side and just say, okay, done. And for those of you like me out there, and for those of you that are laughing at those of us, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's like you think you can just check off your list all the way through it and then you're gonna be done and it's all gonna be good. And rarely, rarely is that the case, right? So I want to encourage you in this summer season, anytime, but the summer season provides us an extra element of energy and a boost in our mood. And that is also science because the sun always helps us feel more energetic. You have to get out and get some sun. Even just a few minutes a day helps. And even if you don't, you have longer hours of daylight in the day. So you have more time to lean into the energy period and the energy of change specifically. So, if you are in the midst of a change right now, I encourage you always to reflect on how you want to feel and be on the other side of the change. And I know that sounds strange, particularly if it is a change that you did not set into motion yourself. It is let's call it an external change, right? An external oriented change. Someone else or something else has initiated the change. So I want you to think about how you want to feel and what you want to be like in your experience on the other side of that change. And it's hard when we are emotional about it and not, obviously we're not through processing it because that takes a while. I'm going to ask that you really try and lean into the essence of the change and ask yourself how you want to feel and be on the other side of it. And just take a few minutes to look into that. And whenever this happens in your life, and it happens over and over again in life for most of us, but looking at that element can help you in the moment, even though it feels fruitless and like you don't understand why you're doing it. It does make a difference because it allows you some clarity about two things. Number one, knowing that you're going to get through it. And number two, giving you a vision to strive towards throughout the change process. It's sometimes easier to do this um, in a way that is less focused on the reasons and the history and the who did what to who and all of that of the change and really, really get into the energy of where you want to be on the other side. And I mean like the feeling of it, like we talk about with manifestation, feeling it and seeing it and involving all of your senses in it. I would encourage you to do that. So I've been thinking a lot about this myself, and this works for internally driven changes as well. In fact, this is where I work with people to start, right? With clients and friends and businesses. You start with where you want to be at the end of the change, right? And again, for those of us who are focused on living our best lives and living the life that we love, we want to feel good. We want to feel joyful. We want to feel connected and we want to feel happy and present. And starting with those things in terms of looking at how we want to be on the other side of change is like the baseline, right? It's like feeling into that. Like when you think about an ideal day, how do you want to feel when you wake up? How do you want to feel at the end of the day? You want to feel like you want to and you're ready to get out of bed because you have excitement and energy around how you're going to spend your time in the day. And for me, at the end of the day, I want to lay down in bed with this, with a smile on my face, grateful, knowing that I did the best that I could, that I made the impact that I hope to make, and that I got to see beauty, whatever form it took. I got to be joyful because that's a choice. That's a choice we make, right? So I would encourage you to think about and take some notes, voice memos, whatever your method of recording things is, then you can really document that. Like, what do I want to feel? How do I want that to be? Again, this is helpful during the midst of change as well, because it gives you something positive to do, especially if it's an emotional change. It gives you some high vibe energy, if you will, to focus on it. And in addition to the stresses and strains of the actual change, whether it's, you know, leaving a job and wrapping things up and actually leaving people that you've come to love and work with for years, or a relationship that's ending, and, the separation of the physical things and all of the difficult things related to that. Do this as often as you can, and even more often than you think you need to, because the impact on your mental health and the impact on your energy levels, both physical, emotional, and spiritual, are all linked. And if we can envision ourselves in a quote better place, or a happier place, or a post change place that makes us feel good, even better than we are in the moment, no matter if you're feeling terrible or not. It just, I'm telling you, it really, really helps to be able to move forward. And from that place, if you're a planner and a list maker, you can start in. You can start writing down what you want to plan for on the as you move out of the change, as you process through it, and then out of the change, and then into the post change world. Then you can have some milestones, some processes that you like to use to move forward. And if you don't want to make a list, if that's not your thing, do whatever is your thing. You visualize it, you see it, you lean into it, you do whatever it takes for yourself to move through the change in the happiest and best way that you can. And always knowing that your vision on the other side of the change will happen. It will manifest. It's not an if, it's a when. And keeping that in mind in the worst of times. I mean, I can literally remember wondering how I was going to get through it and when I was going to be on the other side. That is always the big question. And what I've learned in my years of experience and many, many changes is that focusing on getting out of it makes us stuck, and it makes us feel like we're there even longer. And if we choose to do the hard thing, which is lean into it, right? That struggle and that difficulty, it it helps you facilitate the process. I know that seems counterintuitive and it feels uncomfortable, and it helps facilitate the process of change because you're present for it, right? You're leaning into the actual energy of the change. And if my best results have come when I am doing that, and I am envisioning the latter stages of change and the post change scenario, because it gives me a goal, whether it's a check off the list kind of a goal or just an energy goal. Like, how do I want to be feeling? How do I want to be living my life? What opportunities do I have to make positive change throughout this this negative change that feels so heavy, air quotes and around the negative, and really, really move forward in that direction. So I also want to encourage you to, depending on, again, how you like to capture things, as you feel yourself on the downhill slide of the change, really, really take the opportunity to reflect on what you've learned in the season, right? And I'm not asking you to be Pollyanna and make it, all fake. I'm asking you to be real and look at some of the areas that may have needed change that you did not initiate, but you've been able to change throughout this process. For example, if you were able to create a lifestyle change or a habit or something that was a positive, definitely capture that. And if it ripped you open in ways that you never thought you would be ripped open during this change, capture that too. Again, writing, recording, drawing, just getting it out and expressing it makes a huge difference. And I promise you, 6 months or a year down the road when you feel like we're reflecting back and looking on that, it will bring tears to your eyes one way or another. It will tears to your eyes, a feeling in your stomach, a feeling in your heart. It's so important to be able to capture that so you can see how far you've come and what the process has meant to you and even those around you, clients, family, your new place of work, your new community agreement or arrangement that you're in. And I really don't want you to miss out on that. So try and capture that as well. So you may be wondering now, like, how does this go back to the summer topic and the energy topic you were talking about? Because it connects in a way that I feel like gives us a little bit more power and energy to invest in our changes. And if there are changes that we want to make, that we want to initiate ourselves, it's best to do it when you feel like you have energy. And the summertime for many of us allows us to feel like we have more energy, whether it's the vacation or getting away or just the fact of having more hours of light in the day, we have more energy. So if there's a change that you want to make, now is the time to initiate it. It could be something simple, like you want to be outside more. So find a reason to be outside more. If you want to walk, get up and walk in the morning. It's light super early. So you can walk. Where I live, it gets scalding hot in the afternoon and even into the evening. So mornings are the best time to be out walking. And it gets light so early that I can get up and do that early and not melt and watch the sun come up and it's just beautiful and peaceful. That's one way. You can, take yourself to a park or an area that you like and hike around or near the water. You know what you like to do outside, so do it. If you can't do it during the work week, get up early on a weekend morning and take your time, take your family, whatever, however you want to do it, but get out and spend some time outside. And then, it is gardening season. If you're on my email list, you saw my Wednesday message. I do a weekly message. If anybody is interested, you can email me in the links below, or you can DM me on Instagram and I'll add you to the list. It's typically once a week. And anyway, this week I shared pictures of my first garden harvest. I have a little garden. It's in wine barrels and it makes me happy. I planted it before it got really warm, and I love to watch it grow, and I am not your, keep it all neat and tidy, tied to the tomato cage kind of a gardener. I'm a put a tomato cage around it and still let it go wild kind of gardener, and it's just beautiful. My cherry tomatoes are, I don't know, they've gotta be 6 feet tall, just going everywhere, starting to ripen, and my first crop of cucumbers is what I posted a picture of in my email list, and again, it's the little things. And you plant a garden and it's a way to get outside, number 1. You can get your hands in the dirt if you like that. I do. And you can keep it small if you don't wanna spend a ton of time doing it. I put it in the wine barrels, and I don't have to, weed it or very little weeding. It's low maintenance, and it's beautiful, and I can get my tactile needs, picking and planting and watering and all of those things, and it just takes me out of my head, gets me outside into the sunlight and fresh air, and I can, watch the hummingbirds and dragonflies and listen to the birds. So there's another idea. Obviously, that's one of my favorites because you can tell I get excited about it. And, there are so many other ways to just go outside for your morning coffee. That's another thing I love to do. I'm an iced coffee girl, for most of the year because it's really warm where I live. So I take my coffee and I'll sit out in the backyard or in the front yard, wherever the sun is where I want it to be, and take a minute and just be present to enjoy my coffee. And that is another time you can be working on the change, right? You have this energy, you can journal, you can voice record, you can draw a picture. I mean, whatever you want to do, you can do it in that time. And you don't have to spend hours doing it. Just whatever time you can spare, even if it's only 15 minutes, it just feels like a treat to be able to do those things, right? Even on a work day, get up, do that before you head out to work or to your office in your home or your business, and it makes a difference. Starting your day or experiencing that any time in the day, but starting your day, it just changes your energy. Just like I say in the wintertime, I talked about having dance parties in your house. You can do that in the summertime too. Anything that helps you connect to your energy. So, to recap kind of what the message is for today, it's enjoy the energy of the summer, channel that energy to drive internally directed change. If you want to make changes, now's a good time to do it. And if you are in the midst of a change that either you did was self-directed or was externally imposed, use the extra time and energy right now to lean into it, create the plan that you want for yourself, navigating through it, and document things as you will so that you can reflect on it later on. Envision how you want to be, how you want to feel, how you want to show up, how you want to impact on the other side of the change. And do this on a regular basis so that it helps you feel like there is some control. That is your element of participating in the change. And it is incredible the difference that you will notice compared to changes you've experienced in the past if you employ even some of these strategies. Again, use the energy of the summer. Take the time to be a part of the change as opposed to being a victim of the change. Lean into it instead of running away from it. Capture the lessons and take notes. Even if you don't look at them right now, take notes or sticky notes. I'm a big sticky note fan. Anybody who knows me knows that I have Post-its with me all the time because you can stick those in your journal, you can stick them on a wall, and they capture things for you in just a moment. You don't even have to like write a paragraph. You can just write something quickly and capture it that way. I have lots of tools like that because I need them. I love to write and remember things in different ways. So again, I am so glad that you're here with me. I still am doing the one-on-one sessions. If you want to integrate soul and strategy, I would love to do that with you. We can also talk about doing some one-on-one coaching. I'm doing that as well in a limited number. I have a limited number of spots open for that. So reach out, connect. I am here to facilitate with you and co-create your life, a life that you love. And aligning soul and strategy is an amazing way to do it. So, big love to all of you. Have an amazing week, and I will be back with you soon.